This is the MTPredictor weekly market update for October 19th. Pretty exciting week. We just got through an options expiration Friday. Expect Monday to be a little, maybe a little slow. We don't have, you get that unwinding after options expiration on that following Monday, and we don't really have any economic data scheduled for Monday. The first big piece of data will come out on Tuesday with the existing home sales, and then CPI on Wednesday. Of course, your job numbers Thursday, and then new home sales on Friday. So not a real heavy economic data week this week, but so we'll see how Monday goes. Well, we'll get Monday out of the way. Maybe a slow day Monday, but should pick up on Tuesday with the economic data on Tuesday. All right, so let's go through our S&P here. On the daily chart, again, we had the sell signal back there on the 19th of September. At least that's when that candle closed red. A break of that was the sell there. Came down to the initial target here, which is our decision point. And again, if they take this area out, you've got your next level here. All right, and then you've got your next swing lows back here. Right, that's right where we came into, and then we'll put one more level on here. This was the last swing here. Let's just take a DP here. These are all from the daily chart here. So we did have high volume that came in here on the 15th. Closed with the blue buyers candle, so maybe indication there that professionals are stepping in as they were unable to make a new low the next day, and then they took out the high of the blue buyers candle there on Friday. So we did get that rally. We anticipated that we would begin to rally off of this level here, and I'm expecting that they'll probably at least test 1900 in the ES current contract, which is a December contract. So we'll see. Watch that 1900 area, and then let's just take a look. We'll kind of get a little bigger picture as we go to the weekly chart here, because remember we had a little pattern here in the weekly chart. We went wave 3 up. That's where we had the sell on the daily chart. This pullback was into wave 4 again on high volume here. We closed the week with a blue buyers candle, so watch and see if we don't take out Friday's or the weekly high, last week's high, which was 1906. Is that right? Yeah, 1906. All right, if they can take out the weekly high, then we may get some more follow through beyond the 1900 level there. Obviously, if they can't take that level out, then we're going to be consolidating, or if they break the lows, here's our next target down around 1750 here. So we're in that wave 4 on the weekly chart. If we break that, then we may end up rallying beyond that 1900. Your wave 5 target is up here just above 2000. If they do end up going to new highs, there's a target there. And then on the monthly chart, same picture in terms of pattern wise. Wave 3 here. Now this wave 4 obviously would have would have to drop all the way down around 1600 just to get to the top of the monthly wave 4 level. So something again to watch here. If we do get some a bit of a rally on the daily and the weekly time frames, and then roll over again into the wave 4 on the monthly chart, that's definitely a possibility. So we'll watch these levels. Alright, so let's go to the monthly chart of the dollar. Again, this has been the big driver here. It hit this is the monthly chart here. Again, that major low here, the rally, the first ABC correction. This was that area we talked about last week, this decision point resistance off of these prior swings. So it did close above these prior swings right into the decision point level and the initial target, which was the minimum wave C target here on this buy signal here. Now the tendency, because this is coming off a major low, or the possibilities we should say, is that this could potentially go wave 3 up. And if I could drag that, which I can't, there we go. Let's just see the target there. right? We'd have to, if they can take this area out, if the dollar does take this area out, then the tendency is, or I shouldn't say the tendency, the possibility then is that we're going to go wave 3 up. In other words, this would be a 1, this ABC would be in wave 2, and then we'd be looking for wave 3. All right, we got high volume here on the gray candle, followed by a red seller's candle in the resistance area. So there may be professional selling coming in on the dollar there. If that's the case, we should get some relief in the commodities. Again, a lot of Fed chatter. Last week you had some of the Fed governors coming out and saying that a QE4 is something they've potentially on the table. The Fed minutes came out prior, and they talked about not liking the strong dollar, which we knew, and maybe having to put off any interest rate hikes. They see deflation around the world. That's not good. They don't want that coming here. Again, a strong dollar would be a sign of that deflation coming here. They don't want that. So again, these are the things to keep your eye on. Look at gold here. Not on the monthly chart. Let's see the weekly chart here. So a little bounce here on gold on the weekly chart. This was just a little ABC corrective move there. Let me just see the daily chart. So here's our bounce here. Now this low was a potential wave 3, so this rally obviously wave 4. We've got some selling coming in wave 4. You had high volume here on the turn. Haven't been able to make a new high, so we're going to have to keep an eye on this in conjunction with the dollar. If the dollar starts taking out that level, then we should see another leg down in gold. If the dollar, however, gets rejected off of that DP and is not able to take that DP level out, then gold may eventually take out this wave 4 level. I'm going to go ahead and just project down the wave 5 target here for the daily chart. Let's start here. Okay, so there's your levels. Just above 1180 would be the minimum target, around 1183. If you're going to set something up on this, you'd already be short. It looks something like that. With your stop just above 1250 at 1250.40. All right, silver. Silver has not. Silver is a much smaller market. You can see it's gotten a little bit of a bounce there. Again, we'll have to see if it's going to be able to get any more continuation of that move. Again, this will, got to keep your eye on the dollar, but you've seen some of these commodities. We'll just look at for a second here. As the dollar has gotten some selling, some of these commodities have been able to rally a little bit. This is where's my monthly of soybeans here? You'll see the major monthly support here in soybeans. Actually got a couple levels here. Let me take this one off. You can see this is where it's begun that rally. So again, if the dollar is at resistance and continues to fall, then we should get some more rally in these commodities. It's corn. This is the monthly chart of corn here. Let's look at the weekly chart. So corn again had that 5-wave pattern down. There's a DP off of this last swing here. So this is the level. Corn has come in and started its turn. Again, we'll see how much fall through they've got there. Bonds were just absolutely nuts last week. You can see that here. I had a short call spread on. I had also had a put spread. I had basically an iron condor on the TLT, and this was pretty scary because I was short the 123, 126 call spread, and it spiked up to, I think it was 128. Came back and settled below 123 on options expiration, which was fine. But this was a little scary. It was you can see how big this move is. It was basically 2 weeks worth of movement in this happened basically in one day. All right, so we had a high volume here. It settled back in the decision point resistance there, and we'll see if that continues to act as resistance and we get some selling coming in there. Let me just see the daily chart here for a second. Yeah, there's you see how it ran through the DP and then closed back inside of it. There's a next support on the daily chart there. And then what else? Finally, well, let's look at oil here. We'll look at oil and then the euro. On the weekly chart, remember we've been short oil here. Took out the wave B target down to the final target here. We'll see if it gets some support here. It is in that area where we talk about that $80 level. That's been major support. Again, this chart goes back to 2010. So 4 years of this, 80 to 110 basically level. And we talked about that this eventually is going to break one way or the other. If they start breaking down, the lows here, I think that the moves can be pretty big out of this level. It's, I think, stored a lot of energy in here. Whether we break up to the upside or to the downside is probably going to be a major event. So keep an eye on that. Right now we're in some larger degree support here, and we'll see if oil, like I said, if the dollar continues to sell off at its resistance, we should get a little pop back up in these commodities. If the dollar then just resumes its upward move, goes wave 5 up, then these things will roll over again. So we've got to keep an eye on that. And then finally I did want to look at the euro US dollar. And where are we? Right here. Now let's look at the daily chart. So we've had our 5-wave pattern down. Here's the target for that move. On the euro, again, we'll see if the dollar continues to sell off, then we should get this rally to complete here in the euro. All right, we'll leave it there. We'll see again, get the options expiration. Well, we've got that out of the way. That final kind of unwinding on Monday morning, and then we'll see what we get the rest of the week. Should be a decent week. Got enough economic data, and there's plenty of events out there that are going on. So enjoy your trading week, and we'll be back next Sunday evening.